I first got to Nepal, it was very clear and very obvious that it's a country that has such a rich culture and has so many traditions that are beautiful. It's an incredibly beautiful country, and it's obvious in the streets, in the food, and the people. And while there is so much beauty to it, there are parts of it that aren't as beautiful. Things like caste discrimination and gender discrimination have been entrenched in that culture and in some traditions.
As the week went on and we met all these different groups that interact in Nepal and are a big part of shaping the next generation for Nepal, it's really important to understand that a lot of the situations that they're in at the minute is really steeped in culture and in tradition. And as someone who's from Ireland and who lives in New York, it's really hard for me to understand some of the traditions, but I need to really understand that things are moving forward and so much has happened in the past couple of years, especially with gender equality and getting women at the table and making sure that they make a difference.
As outsiders, we tend to have certain notions about countries that are not traditionally aligned with the Western culture, and we may never agree with people's views, but I think it is important that you may not agree, but you just have to understand where they're coming from. And that's really what is important for human rights, is that you can reconcile these two different thoughts and make a compromise there.
So from going to a small organization, a local organization with a local but important problem, and then building right after that to the nearest MC, and finding out how a much larger, much more funded organization can impact change in a different plan. It was very eye-opening to see all these different components of society in Nepal actually working together.
Being in Nepal and meeting with these incredible people, these influential stakeholders, these Supreme Court justices and human rights defenders, from doctors to lawyers and historians, and they bring all these different approaches to all these different human rights issues and how to better solve them with the help of global stakeholders. So I think being in Nepal in 2020 really opened my view to this new platform where the power dynamics have changed and how we can better move forward.
My favorite visit so far, or group that we've interacted with, is a group called Blue Diamond, which is an LGBT activist group, and a lot of Nepali LGBT issues have definitely become better over the years, and I just found it fascinating that a lot of the people who are actually leading the movement are transgender women.
And I also really enjoyed the cultural aspect of the trip, where we learned a lot about the history in these really old and beautiful towns. We had tours with Anil Chitrakar, who was a walking encyclopedia, and he really tied in the history with what we saw and really described the conservation efforts that went alongside urban renewal and urban development.
The story that we heard once was about Buddha and the figure where he touches the ground. And so what it indicates is the ground touching moment when you finally realize what you want to do in your life and you're going to find your purpose. And the earth responds to you, I am your witness. And so I thought that it was really interesting because I believe that moment was here for me.
And I hope to create some of the circles that I've seen in Nepal that work so well together, that people really gather around the idea of equality, democracy, fairness, and compassion. The people of Nepal really value compassion, and that's something that I really want to take back to me in the States and really try to push that and ask people when in certain situations trying to help other people, where's the compassion in the room?
Going to even Nepal, seeing victims of trafficking, or going to the Forum for Women on Development and hearing a victim of rape, it's really been eye-opening to me and seeing how these people have been helped. And while it was emotional and sad to see and hear their stories, it filled me with hope to see that they were actually being helped. And I think that's my main takeaway from this trip is hope that things will get better, things will improve because of leadership like that.